Oh, ladies and gentlemen, Six Fig Stock Trader here from YouTube. I hope you're all having a beautiful Friday. Wherever you are at in the world, let's jump right into CKB. I've got some really good things going on here that I want to show you. But before we get into it, check me out on Twitter at Real6Fig. This is where I'm dropping links to live streams. This is where I'm retweeting cool NFT art like Nervy and Project Kami. This is where I am dropping links to live streams and upcoming videos. So if you're into crypto, hit me up, baby. Now, what's this exciting news that Six Fig talks about right now? Well, we can see that there is the possibility that CKB is gearing up for a bounce. Now, one thing I just want to go ahead and compare is this price structure in here to this price structure in here. Both kind of have a double bearish cloud. We can see this, right? So there is a divider here and there's a divider here. So we really do have a nice little impulse wave or series of impulse waves to the downside. Now, one thing I want to point out is you can see right now price action is double bottoming right around this 0.018-ish level, somewhere in there, just like it did back in September. We got that double bottom. But if you look closer, we were in the same position. We saw price in a very similar position to the Ichimoku cloud. It's very similar. We can see that the 50 moving average is in a very similar position. Same with the 200. Very similar position. Now, we do have the conversion line, which is this red line here. I don't know if you can see this very well, but it is in there. And this thing is starting to kind of trade sideways. In the moment that this thing starts ticking upwards, we're going to see a violent reaction of price to the upside. And what I'm hoping here is that we can complete this grand level scheme of Elliott wave theory and completely avoid the head and shoulders pattern. I want to see a retest of the all-time high at 4.5 cents. I really do. We are owed it for hanging in there this long. And we can kind of see how this might look. Something very similar to this. And hopefully we would just see the top get blown right off this thing. So there's a few other things that I just wanted to show you guys with this setup. So where did price retrace to and bounce from this last increment? Let's look at this. Well, if we go ahead, measure from this little spot here up to this high here, we can see that price action came right down to the 127. This is a very important number for price action to reverse at. It's either this or the 168. 168, folks. My goodness. The golden ratio, 161.8. So with that said, folks, the 127 is a very common reversal point. But if we kind of go ahead and measure the same kind of points of data, we can see that by measuring from here to here, we are really creeping up on that 127% level. So just measuring from this point to this point. And so if we just tweak this a little bit, we can see how close we are, how similar these setups are. And I'm hoping what we see in the grand scheme of things, folks, is another staircase climb like this to the upside. And we have to wonder, okay, well, where did price climb to after it ran up here? What Fibonacci extension did we come up and touch? Let's get into this. So we came up and touched the golden ratio. That is very interesting in itself. So what would we hit based off this current data if history repeats itself? Well, let's go and move this up here and let's move the floor. So if we do this and we come up and hit this golden ratio, that puts us at right around 5 cents, which, folks, congratulations to Nervos Network and the holders. This is new all-time highs, baby, 5 cents. But since we would be crushing new all-time highs, we would likely go into some sort of price discovery mode, and it wouldn't surprise me to see the price run up a lot higher. The last time we saw price really go into discovery mode was back in February-ish, somewhere in there. And we can see that just based off previous data. Okay, so it might have been the end of February, and then we saw price basically crush all-time highs from there. And how much did it really go up from previous all-time highs? Let's get into this. How about that? So we could argue that it ran up another 61% to all-time highs. So, and this is very speculative, folks. So let's just say we come up, we crush the 4.5 cent mark, and let's just go up 64%. That would put us right around a 7 cent CKB, somewhere in that neighborhood. But I do think that the capability and the possibility of CKB flying a lot higher is totally there. And if we really look at this on a grander scale, we can see this. Let's move that down here. And I do think that, the 7 cent level, again, when we measure on all-time highs to lows, 161.8 comes out at 7 cents, damn near, on the nuts. So it would not surprise me to see us move up into these 300 or 400% levels at all either. Just based off the squeeze, we won't know until we know. For all we know, that is just one of the two scenarios that could happen if Bitcoin keeps its act together. So we need to look at Bitcoin, and it's very important that you stick with this TA right now so we can check out Bitcoin. And while I'm pulling this up, guys, if you could just do me a huge favor and just smash that like button. It truly means a lot to me. So here we go. Bitcoin is still kind of trying to make up its mind at the moment. So we saw this sideways squeeze. It has spilled outside of this symmetrical triangle, but appears to be temporarily holding. Again, I've been talking about December 18th, December 17th-ish for a little bit. Someone in the live stream mentioned that it was quadruple witching, which I totally forgot about. I always forget about that. So with that said, there is a lot of things going on with the markets as a whole that could possibly influence Bitcoin. So the fact that we've been holding ground at or around this level for the last 2 weeks is very important. And we can kind of see what happened the last time this happened with Bitcoin. So we really need a nice bounce on Bitcoin to maybe get this inverse head and shoulders. Otherwise, I fear that we will get a DE correction on an ABCDE corrective wave, which would not be good. So we need forward progress on Bitcoin, unfortunately, for everything else to kind of move forward. Yesterday, if you're holding ETH, I was talking about ETH. It's in this rising wedge, little spillage happening there. So if Bitcoin tanks, I do think that is really going to go. I want to look at the Bitcoin dominance. We can see that Bitcoin has, has bounced outside of this falling wedge now, and we are currently testing the support levels of this wedge here. So it wouldn't surprise me to see Bitcoin dominance rise maybe 3.5% from here over the next few days. There is a big descending triangle, which if Bitcoin is able to break out to the upside, I do think that we're going to see a major rally quite possibly. So that's kind of where the market is at in a nutshell. Everybody's just kind of waiting for Bitcoin to do its thing, really. And I do think that CKB is really still looking good despite all of the downfalls we faced over the last few weeks, especially coming off that 3.5 cent high. Man, that was sweet, guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Smash that like button, please. Big shout out to all the Patreons. Thank you all for supporting the channel. If you're interested in becoming a Patreon, $3 a month will get your name, YouTube channel name, or business name up on this banner. And we'll see you guys on the next video.